Alright, this is the start of the rebuild of the heater box for the 1969 GTX. First, I'm going to take a look at what screws go where and document that so that if at some point this gets it to be long and extensive, I know where bolts and screws came from. So right here on this grill, there's screws with flat heads. On the bottom side of that though, they're using Phillips heads. Holding the case together, they're using those same flathead screws around the entire case. There's one in here, but it doesn't appear to hold anything, and there wasn't anything there when I got it. Some more of those flathead screws. These teeny little screws go here. A big black-headed screws go here, and this thing goes here, 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 and here. One of each right here, flathead, and just a socket. Along the top, there are some black flathead screws, and that pretty much does it. Somebody's getting a little wound up because of the way I tied them up. What? That pretty much does it for identification of screws coming off. I'm gonna start with the well, we didn't look at the back side. Hold on. What's on the back? Okay, on the back, just these screws coming through. Nothing visible on the motor. And two screws here, the flathead style. Everything else is just penetrating through the back of the unit. Okay. Oh yes, there's a screw here and a screw here, standard kind. Alright, that'll do it. Can't pace out. Alright, here's a video update for the 1969 GTX, the heater box. I took the back cover off, required removing a ton of screws, and these things were sit on right here. There's still some dirt in there. You can see where my leak was on the heater core. It's quite a bit of leaking, really. Haven't taken that out yet. There were screws literally everywhere. There's one in here. The basket came out of here. This door is interesting in that it's got a sealant or you know, the material that covers it along the sides and the bottom, and it's the door for heat, so you get defrost or heat. I think that's probably both. Halfway is probably both. That's defrost. Halfway is both. Closed is no defrost and probably regular heat. Yeah, regular heat. No. Anyway, I don't know what it is, but it's got this coating on it, this material that's got to be replaced. Still going to take this out. There's a gasket, runs along the whole thing. It's probably single side stick with some material on the other side. I'm going to paint this, clean it and paint it. This is all metal. This is the basket. It has a keyed plug here, and if you look right on the side of it, I can't, it's right there, you can't see it. I don't know why. There it is. It's Allen key. That'll take the basket off. The basket, I don't know why, but it looks like it's got a weight right there. That piece of that stuff right there looks like a weight. I'm not sure if that was its intention or not. The electric motor you have to take off one of the wire because there's a plug, but it has this rubber passage panel. I think it's drain. You're probably going to want to keep that in good shape. I'm going to have to check this motor to see if I should reuse it. To tell you the truth, it's probably a bad idea to use it. You got this whole thing apart. You probably ought to get a new one, but then again, the original might be better than today's technology. Anyway, that rubber drain comes out right here, and you know, you got to be careful with that. That's probably something that's going to be difficult to get a replacement for, because it's got a flange or a lip on the inside that keeps it inside here. All right, so there's an update. Taken apart, I'll get that heater core out, and we'll go from there. I'll take it in, get a replacement, and see if I could get there are rebuild kits for these, so I'd like to get a rebuild kit that has all these components for rebuilding it, and we'll see how that works out. Can't base out. All right, here's my rebuild kit for the 1969 GTX. Comes with some installation parts that weren't even with my original, so should end up being a little better than it was. Some of these go on the water pipes. This must be door insulators. I don't think I use these, but we'll see. This piece, my other one didn't have, so better insulation. I got this from Classic Car Industries, and it also comes with some instructions to tell you what to do. Seems pretty good. About I think it was about 30 bucks. Can't base out. Hey, this is Can't Base. I'm going to do a short video for you on fixing and repairing this heater box. Obviously, I know a little more about it now than I did last month. One of the issues I had was whether to use or replace the fan motor. Okay, this is a new one. That's the old one. The problem I have is that when you put this box in and you're done, if that thing doesn't work 100% of the time, well, you got to take it back out, and you know, that's a lot of time and technically money when you got to put this thing in and out. So when you put it in, you want to leave it there for 50 years, just like it was before I got to it. So that means if you have a fan motor that's questionable, that you probably should not use it. This one right here, in my opinion, is a little questionable. And the reason is, if you look at this, here's a couple tests you can do to determine. When I pull on this piece right here, it moves. It goes in and out. That's not a lot of slop. See that? But there is slop. On a new motor, you're not going to get anything. There is no slop and no movement on that motor. So that's one thing. Second thing, when I rotate this new motor, I can feel the bump, 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 the actual tightness of it and the movement. When I rotate this one, smooth as glass. There's no bumps, there's nothing in there. Don't know what that means, but I would assume it means that the brushes on this one are tired. Whereas this one, they're brand new and you can feel them. It actually rotates harder. The newer one is actually harder to turn than the old one. The other thing is, I have the old motor wired up right now. I got it on 2 amps, which actually should be like a low speed setting. Now, in my opinion, it should be spinning right now at low speed, a low fan motor speed. And I believe that it takes like 12 to get it to go. And then if you back it down to 2, it'll continue. So let me hit 12 here. No. Okay, hold on. Let me adjust this and that. Okay, let's see if I can get this thing going. I'm going to set you down just for a second here. Okay, did you see that? I had to throw my switch over to engine start before this guy started spinning. So basically, if it was in the car, I would probably have to rotate the basket or something before I got it spinning. Now I'll drop it down to the 2 amp setting. It runs fine. 12 amp, 2 amp. It runs fine. The problem is that, you know, I can't always switch it over to engine or put my hand on it to spin it. So while this is running fine, it's not going to always run fine. And so therefore, that's why I replaced it with a new one right here. So if you have these sorts of problems with yours, let me shut this down. You know, it's one thing you do to test it is put it on your battery charger. It doesn't seem to cause any problem. I haven't tried the new one to see how it goes, but I guess now's a good time, ain't it? And drop it down to 2 amps. We got low amperage setting. Now, if everything goes like I think it should, this should start on a 2 amp setting. No, hold on, I haven't got it grounded. I haven't got it set yet, hold on. There she goes. Okay, it's spinning. It's a little quieter, not much. So, I don't know if that answers any questions for you, but for me, the way the shaft turns and the movement of the shaft means get a new one, so you don't have to go through the issues of taking this whole heater core back out. There's an update for you. Here's the heater core, by the way. It's got a new core, a new lining. This one I left because it was in good shape, but everything else on it's completely new. All this stuff, all this coating is new. Everything's been painted. Doors and everything's been painted. So as soon as I get this new motor in there, it's going to be ready to rock and roll. Go back in the GTX. Camp base out. Hope this information helped.